Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Here for another video, and today I've got one of my special coaching students, Yestin Kraus. He's been working with me for the past couple of months, and today we're just going to be running through Yestin's journey, asking him a few questions about appointment setting, sales, his journey, how he's got to the point of, where he's at now, some of the advice he's going to be giving to, new people starting in sales or new people in their journey. Me and Yestin have been absolutely cooking the past couple of months, and it's going to be a real deep dive into his journey. I'm going to ask him a few questions, and it's going to be super insightful. Okay, the first thing I want to start with as well is, obviously I know Yestin, and anyone here who follows me on Instagram, you definitely know Yestin. Yestin features on my Instagram practically every week now because of just how well he's doing in sales and how much his progression has been. But I'm going to give Yestin the time to first of all introduce yourself. Like, who are you? Tell us a bit about you, and for the people on the channel who don't know who Yestin is, who have never been acquainted with Yestin, walk us through that, bro.
Yeah, Yestin. Recently quit my 9-to-5 job to take on appointment setting full time. Been with David now for about 2 months, and realistically that's what's made it happen. But yeah, it's great to be on here, and today I'll be telling you all about my story from when I first started working a 9-to-5 full time, the long hours, trying to get into appointment setting as a full time thing, and obviously to where I am today. And yeah.
And let's start about that, because obviously, Yestin, we haven't just known each other since, you started working with me 2 months ago. We've been acquainted for a decent amount of time now. Yestin is one of the alpha setters as well. But Yestin, bro, it goes a lot deeper than, the first 2 months we've been working with each other.
Way deeper than
a lot deeper than that, but not just, sort of us knowing each other, but also your sales journey as a whole, bro. Every single meetup we've had with, the Alpha Setter boys and Temi, you've always been there. I want you to tell us a little bit and tell the channel about you, where you started from, your sales journey and how you've got into sales, and kind of give everyone the clear view of, what it sort of looked like the past year or so, transitioning up to this point, bro. Because there's a lot more than just meets the eye.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, so I've always wanted to have the financial freedom of working from my phone and things like that. But I was always one of them guys who just thought everyone's a guru, impossible to do, and just I always thought they'd all selling the dream. But I bought random courses and things, and just thinking I'm just gonna just do it overnight. But it obviously doesn't work like that. But stumbled upon appointment setting, which was what's got me here today. And I actually paid to be in the Alpha Setter community. Probably the best investment I've ever made to actually invest into my future. And yeah, so I started off my journey. I was earning £100 now and again. I went from months I was earning £50 a month, and I just thought, I've earned a bit of money, so I'm doing all right. Do you know what I mean? And then
from your phone, right?
Yeah, from my phone.
Money you make from your phone, you think you're rich, even if it's £20.
Yeah, literally. I was just making random money here and there, but it was never anything that I wanted to achieve. But because I always had that, I had my 9-to-5 at the time, and obviously it was a safety net, and I just thought I'm making extra money here and there, so I don't really need to scale anymore. And I was just got comfortable, which is quite bad really, because you always want to. Obviously, I always wanted to earn a lot more than what I was earning, but because I always had that safety net of a 9-to-5, it was it wasn't really a rush to get to where I wanted, kind of thing. But then I was stuck on some bad offers and things, and obviously David knows about that too. And
we're gonna get into all of that. But Yestin, bro, obviously you started sales. It was about May time.
Yeah,
it was about May last year. Yeah. May 2024. Okay.
Yeah.
Ever since then, life's looked completely different. Okay.
Yeah, a lot different.
A lot different for you specifically. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing when you started in sales. Obviously, you've tried making money in the past. You brought different types of courses. Yeah. But when you started in May, what was life like for you? And walk us through just a little bit about the transition that's been, how you've changed from, working your 9-to-5, what your 9-to-5 was in, how you found that compared to where you are now.
So obviously, I was always one of them people. If I knew if I had the feeling that it'd work, I'd go all out on it. So I obviously when you first start, and it was all about the outreach when you first start, sorting your page up. And I was doing tons of outreach every day, getting no replies and things, changing my thing. And then within 4 days, I actually landed my first appointment setting role, and it was just for I was selling mentorships for a theme page, but the closer just wasn't about it. So I was just basically wasting time on that. But because I was earning money here and there, I was still in the mindset, I'm still earning money from my phone. Hope for the best of things. But it come to a point where I just knew that it wasn't getting away. It come to months. I only earned a couple £100, and I knew I had more potential. I knew it, and all the boys even said that. And the first ever link up I come to was an Alpha Setter link up. But I met David in person. Obviously, been on the group calls and things like that in the past too. And ever since that day, I just knew something had to change. And I think 2 weeks before that link up, actually, I was on a call with David about getting on a new role that he was going on and things, and yeah, I had that role, and like ever since then it's gone up. Yeah.
So you started sales in May.
May, yeah.
And you were in a few offers here and there. That's when you really started the whole sales journey, right?
Yeah.
And then what were you doing while at the beginning of May, or even before you started sales? What were you doing?
Well, I was working around 9 to 5, and just average 9 to 5 was like a water engineer kind of thing. It was like a bit of a dead end job. Wasn't very much room for improvement, but because it was just easy money and things, I was just like, it's comfortable. And obviously, when you're comfortable, it's not what you want to be. You want to get out of your comfort zone and actually try and do it. But because I had that comfort zone, it wasn't like a big rush to quit my 9 to 5. But the second I quit my 9 to 5, I knew something had to change, because like I don't work no money. I can't slack in it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So when I get from there, then it's just like, well, I quit my 9 to 5, and then the only way from up there was literally up. Obviously, you had them thoughts in your head. You're like, oh, what if I don't earn money next month? This, that, and the other. But when you get into the right mindset of like not thinking that way and actually knowing to yourself you're going to make it happen, kind of thing, then there's nothing to worry about. As soon as you're in that mindset, you'll do anything.
And I know, Yestin, you said obviously when you started, the same with anyone, okay? A load of people, especially now in this new online high ticket space, everyone knows about SMMA, everyone knows about sales, everyone and their grandmas trying to make money online. But the same situation that everyone starts with when they start making money online, or even trying to start appointment setting or closing, is like, oh, this is quite hard.
Yeah.
Okay, you said yourself you were pretty bad offers. Okay, you were doing outreach and you were doing your job, you were putting in the hours every day. But you were putting in, trust me.
Yeah.
And you necessarily weren't seeing the results of it. The offers there, it wasn't as pretty as it seemed on the outside, right? It wasn't as pretty as it showcased to other people. But Yestin, tell me, because a load of people then, especially when starting in May, from May, 2-3 months in, if people don't see money, okay, it's on to the next one. Let me start e-com now. Let me start trying to do this. Okay, this clearly hasn't worked. Tell me, bro, you're clearly, you've stuck out to the point now where we're at here. You're stuck. Okay, you're making 3 to 5K per month online. You literally just hit your first 5K month in January. What a way to start the year, right? Tell us, bro, what would you say it is that made you stick it out, or that's kind of got you to this point at the moment, through the struggles we're going to go into? But you've got to the point where a lot of people would quit. You've stuck it out. What would you attribute to that? Okay, what would you think, other than the link ups and things like that, which are a big part, and I'm sure that's what you're going to say, what do you think has got you to this point now, initially?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there was times where I was going to quit, and I was talking to David about this. I was genuinely going to stop appointment setting, because I was like, come on, I'm putting all this time in and nothing seems to be happening. But like he mentioned something on one of the coaching calls I had to him. It's like delayed gratification, and I was like, yeah, but how much of a delay is it going to be until I do it? Following month 3K, and then I was like, from there. But I always had a feeling in sales that as soon as I earned money off my phone, and like it was pretty easy, that I earned like 100 quid in a month, and like, it was easy. And like, if it was that easy, why can I not do it again? So I don't know why I would have like quit at the start. If it happened once, why not? Why can't I do it again? And obviously I've been on some bad offers since then as well, which like I was going back to nothing again. But yeah, when I moved on, I'd say it's about seeing the potential, and I believed in myself that I was going to make it happen anyway, regardless what the case was.
It's all about self-belief, bro.
Yeah, literally.
We had a little mastermind yesterday, and the consistent theme was ego. Having the self-belief, like no matter what, I'm going to make it happen. No matter what, I'm going to smash my goals. And a big part of that, I feel like, is the network you put yourself in.
Yeah, 100%.
When a load of people start trying to make money online, they try and go the lone wolf mode. We've all been there. We've all wanted to start making money online. No, I don't need anyone. I can do it myself, right? But even just going back to all of the meetups we have with the boys, the out there community. I'm building the Scale Your Sales community as well with people like you, Bruno, and just all of us being around each other. How much would you say that your environment, speaking to people like me, speaking to people like Temi, Yomi, making an effort to drive from Wales? Because if you boys don't know, Yestin is from Wales, if you can't tell by his accent. We're in London right now, okay? I know people that literally live in London but can't make the time to come to meetups we've got or come to events. But Yestin will more happily drive 3 to 4 hours every single time we've got an event going and that shows the dedication, and that's the reason why you're smashing it at the moment, bro. But how much do you think the network that you've got around you, and that we've been able to build with me and you and all of the other boys, how do you think that's helped you?
It's been an important part, because like down with where I'm from, like I'm not like doubting no one and things, but no one was really into online sales and things, and like no one still really knows what I do now. They just see like random results of my story and things and just be like, what are they doing and things like that.
Think you're a guru.
Yeah, they're called gurus.
I've seen the scheme.
Far from a guru doing 100k a month, like they say. But yeah, like the network, being around the guys who were in the position where I want to be in the future is like really important, because I was stuck in a point where, like, I'm nothing against 9 to 5s and things, because that's where we all start, right? But if I'm more than people who are in 9 to 5s, like, how am I ever going to get to that 10, 15k a month person who, when I'm not even with people who can even fathom making that money in their life? Like, that's like what, people's 4 or 5 months wages. So yeah, it's like, I'm not really going to get nowhere. So something clicked in my head and I was like, I need to like go and talk to guys and see what they think about it. And like, I come to London for the first link up, and no joke, I must have asked David about over 100 questions every day I was with him and things. And then, but he had the patience to answer me for every little stupid question I asked and things. But yeah, it was genuinely like, your network is genuinely your net worth, because it's been a big change for me and what I can gather in my career, and like what in the last 6-7 months where I've been into appointment setting. But yeah, and like even the alpha set of group calls when we're just asking the questions on there and things, and like going over everyone's, even other people's opinions who are in the same position as me, is still good, because they're trying to get to where David, Temi, Yomi, all them are too. But it's good to know where we all stand and what their plans are as well, and to get to where they want to be.
And what you just said there is super important. Alex Hormozi says something about that as well. Like, obviously everyone's heard the law that, you know, you are the 5 people you hang around with the most, which is so true. And this is why you've been able to just become a G through osmosis. Okay. You're also an average of the people who you compare yourself to, who you try to impress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people in small areas or small towns, they don't have big aspirations, or they don't have big goals if they're not on social media, if they're just around people that are in their neighborhood. There's a reason why those guys don't have big goals, is because at the end of the day, the caliber of people who they have to impress is so below the bar that you just have to be a normal person. Does that make sense? You just have to turn up.
TikTok,
exactly. The people around them, or the people they're comparing themselves to, aren't anything of substance. Okay. But a key factor, or a key thing that I see in every single person who is successful, is they compare themselves to people that are successful. Okay, if you want to become a millionaire, if you want to become a billionaire, you want to become 10 to 15, 20, 30 per month sales.
And I'll do it as well.
You are going to do it. We're going to make it happen. But you want to become just a legend in sales.
Yeah.
Who are you going to compare yourself to? Your boys from down the road, or someone who's actually doing what you're doing, who's completely further ahead of you, and someone who you know is you can learn from and become that person?
Yeah, well, obviously the person who's either already been in the position that I want to be in, or working towards that goal as well, because I'm not going to really learn off somebody who has no interest in what I do, and like still thinks to this day I'm lying about what I earn and like things like that. Like, I can't really lie about in-person results I've generated for someone, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, yeah, but obviously the person who's helping me get to that position, or wants to be in that position as well, so we can obviously work together to get to that place, both know what we're doing to get there and things like that too. So,
well, tell us yes then, because like we said, the journey has never been that smooth, and you touched on it a little bit, but let's dive deeper into that. Let's dive deeper into some of the biggest issues that you found, or some of the struggles, because I know a lot of new appointment setters, or a lot of beginner appointment setters, are going to be watching this student interview right now, and a lot of them may be in a position that you were in without even realizing it. Okay. When you first started appointment setting, or when you first started and you're going through the struggle phase, give me 2 to 3 things, or just give me some of the main points that you felt held you back. Okay, the main things that you felt held you back, and then we can start to talk about the changes you made, the changes you implement to get yourself to now, and how someone else can kind of do that.
Well, firstly, I'd say, like, know your worth, right? So when you're setting, you gotta, like, if you're setting for someone who's, like, been a month or 2 and you ain't really, like, done much and there's not much going on and not much going, you gotta know, like, this is not a very good offer, I gotta move on from this. But it got to a point where I was just, like, and I'd admit, I wasn't going to, like, the group calls and things like that, or with Temi and Yomi, and I was, like, because I wasn't making time for it, and I was, like, thinking to myself, I text Temi one day, and I was, like, saying, like, what do I do at this point? He's like, bro, you're falling off, like, you ain't coming to group calls and things. And, like, that was, like, a light bulb over me.
But you need someone to tell you that.
He said that you're falling off, and he said, like, and that day he said, what time can you call later? And I was like, oh, nice little call with Temi 1-to-1. He put a group call out there, and I was like, the group call was around me. And ever since that group call, it was like, I knew how important it actually was to talk to the people who were willing to help you. Like, end of the day, I was, like, paid for officers anyway, and they were willing to help me, and I wasn't taking full advantage of it. Yeah. But after that day, like, stuff changed. Still got the most shit offers, to be fair. But yeah, after that, the second I realised my worth for that, I was always one of them sellers who thought, like, I'm doing all the work, this is just like part of the process and things, but there's only so much you can actually put in where you don't get results, and you got to know that it is a bad offer.
Yeah. So that's one thing there, bad offers that you said, right? Before we started working with each other, one-to-one, you were on some shocking offers, and we're not going to name and shame. We should, but
we can't go that.
You were on some bad offers, okay? So bad offers is number one. Appointment sales watching this video right now. One thing about that Iestyn changed, the moment he changed it, is he knew his worth. He knew that, bro, why am I on this offer that I'm not getting paid for? There's no systems around me. Why am I on this offer when I know that I know I'm a good appointment setter? I need to be on better offers. Okay, because when you were in this stage, you weren't a beginner appointment setter, bro.
No, I was still there's people earning like 2-3K a month for doing it.
You weren't a beginner appointment setter. You had some skin under your game, and you were still on offers that were sort of, it's bad to say it, but you were on offers that were essentially below you. Okay, so realizing your worth and realizing, okay, I need to be on good offers that fit my skill and my end goal, that changed a bit. But also, Iestyn, we started working with each other in how many? Like 8-9 weeks ago. So I'm not good with months, bro.
About 2 months, isn't it?
About 2-3 months ago. We'll say about like November time. November. About November time. And ever since then, that's when the sort of we've spiked up a little bit. Okay, and I can tell you can tell me what the number one thing you feel like you've got from working with me is. But I already know from working even with mentors myself, the number one thing that has helped you and that I've seen helped you is personalized and one-to-one guidance and that clarity.
Yeah, clarity, definitely.
When you have a mentor or when you have someone that's helping you with sales or helping you get to where you want to get to, it's not necessarily the skills they give you, it's the mindset, it's the clarity, it's the understanding of where I need to go and this is what I need to do. So tell me, like, the one-to-one guidance and the actual clarity that, I've been able to give you, or the guidance you've been able to get from me, how do you think that's helped your trajectory spike up to the point now where it's kind of gone from we've been going up and down, building the skills, but as soon as you've got that clarity, we've kind of hit that peak where it's just a green light.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at a green light, we're going full steam ahead. How was the clarity and how was the guidance helped with that, man?
It helped big time because obviously you can invest into like courses and like communities and things, but when you get that one-to-one guidance, it's basically a step up. And like breaking like even the little things down, like I needed to make like a couple £100 and we broke down what it needed to be done. It was like X amount of calls, X amount of closes and things like that. But like even to the point where, and I went to plan, it was like last month, we were sitting in the Indian food and my 5K month got hit while I was eating my Indian. And I showed David, I was like, the close is happening. It happened in the Indian. And like, if it wasn't for that like little step-by-step thing, just breaking down, it was long and boring. Like the call was like half hour breaking it down, how we're going to do it. And I was like, I don't think this is going to be possible, David. He's like, yeah, it'll be possible. And I was like, 2 minutes before midnight, the 5K come through. And it was like, done.
It's reverse going to go.
Yeah, literally.
In order to know where you want to get to or know where you're heading to, no matter how boring it gets, you need to figure out exactly how you're going to get there. Yeah. You can't just shoot in the dark and just go through the motions because you're just coasting. Be another 4 or 5 years and you're like, I've got nowhere near closer to where I needed to get to because I haven't had a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, the number one thing that we focus on and that you get from me is we create a plan and I make sure I give you every single tool necessary to get there and to achieve that sort of plan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you hit your first 5K month, whilst you were in Tiki-Taka, whilst you were in the Indian business, which was amazing. Temi's birthday, your first 5K month, Aman hit his first 10K month. Just a great weekend for the boys. But tell me some of the changes, because I've seen a lot of changes in you, bro. Genuinely, ever since we started working with each other. Okay, there's countless things I can ring off, and I'm gonna ring them off after as well. Okay. But I want some of the biggest changes that you've seen in yourself or that you've made that have got you to the position now where, you're clearing 5K per month from your phone whilst you're in an Indian restaurant, but just living life, moving in London for the weekend.
Yeah.
Tell me, bro, biggest changes.
Self-belief was a big one because when I come to you, I was a bit like confidence, like believing in yourself was like being like the biggest thing. I never thought, like I said at the start, I didn't even think it was going to be possible to even make this amount of money with my phone and things. But self-belief, planning out your days was key. I used to just wing it, wake up, set all day, just wing it, book a couple of calls, and I'd book tons of calls, but yeah. And just having that planning, just working hard, not giving up was a big thing. Because I was like, at some points, like I said, I was going to give up and just stop it. But yeah, believed in myself, knew I was going to do it, had that funny feeling I was going to do it, and I've done it. But we don't stop there.
Mindset and planning. When I first started, when me and Iestyn, you can agree, when we first started working with each other, bro, the mindset and your self-belief of what you could do, I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, was in the bin.
Yeah, it was in the bin.
It was genuinely in the bin. We'd have calls and like you just riddled with self-doubt.
Yeah.
Even it's natural. Doubt is natural with everyone. I still feel doubt every day. I'm sure you feel doubt all the time as well.
100%.
But worrying or just at the end of the day, every single person that has achieved their goals, that have got to where, a position of status, they've all been in the exact same position as us. They've all had doubt. They've all had limited belief, okay? But the moment I said to you, like, bro, every single thing you're telling me right now is imposed limited beliefs. It's imposed things that aren't going to serve you. Ever since then, even with just the way you speak, I remember on our calls, I had to stop you from saying, I'm going to try to, I'm going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When me and you speak about hitting a goal, like you're hitting 10K at the end of this year.
Yeah.
It's not, we're going to try and hit 10K. It's you're going to hit 10K. You're going to make it happen. Yeah. Okay. No ifs, no buts. No matter what, we're always going to figure out a way we're going to make it happen. But just using little things like making little changes like that to your day and the way you speak and the way you believe, your thoughts.
And when we first got on, he's like, oh, how are you today? I'm like, oh, I'm alright. I'm not bad. I had a good day. You're like, why are you amazing? And every time I go on a call now, I'm amazing, David.
It's about your belief,
yeah.
Your belief systems. If your internal belief system is just riddled with self-doubt and, you're always focused on the bad, you're always worrying, you're never, ever going to reach anywhere near the sort of the heights that you can if you're just constantly in a positive mood, constantly working, constantly taking action, constantly doing what you need to do. Okay, so the one-to-one mindset, or the mindset, the planning, all things that have changed significantly in the past, and it's pretty evident that as soon as you've changed that, because you've always been a hard worker, you've always put the inputs in.
Always done that.
But putting in the inputs isn't always enough. As soon as you change the mindset aspect to it now, so you're doing it happy, you believe it's going to happen, and you're doing the work. As soon as you've made those changes, practically 2 months, because those are the number one things that when you started working with me and Scale Your Sales one-to-one, those are the things. 2 months. Tell us about the journey. What were you making when you first started with us, when you first started with me, compared to now? How have those changes helped you so much?
In like November, after the month I joined, I was like, just obviously I said I work my normal 9 to 5 and things, but I took it like David said, I'm taking on a couple of training a couple of guys up. I said, all right, if I sign up to you, what can you achieve me? And he said, well, you can achieve me, and I was like, I'm sold on it. So I've done it, and then I've basically achieved like.
Yeston was the easiest sale I've ever made. I didn't even have to sell Yeston. He sold himself to me. Genuinely.
I was on to him about me signing up to him. He didn't even tell me he was doing it.
Because he messaged me, and I was like, I just didn't pursue or anything. And you followed up with me. It should have been me following up with you. You kept on following up with me, and you literally told me to send the link.
Yeah.
You assumed the sale on me. Okay.
Do you know how much the link was at the time? I said, whatever it is, just said.
And how much were you making when you first started?
The month I signed up to you, I earned £145 that month.
£145 that month. Okay, but this was Yeston, with not as good mindset, not as much belief in his, a load of doubt and a load of negative thoughts in what I like to call your inner matrix. Ever since you've made those changes, the progression shift is so inevitable. You're a stud in everything you do. Okay, you can make money now. You know how to fight, bro. You're confident. Okay, you're articulate. You're making content. We've even started to post in the TikToks and Instagrams, the Reels, the YouTubes. Okay, you've been able to become such a different person. I know you told me earlier that your mum has even noticed how much of a change you've made.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been able to become such a different person, all by changing those two things and having that clarity, having that guidance. Do you know what I mean?
Like I posted my first talk in TikTok, and that's something I'd never ever do. Like I've never been a confident person. I talked in front of a camera, I spoke in front of a camera, and posted on my TikTok. I was like, "What's going on here?" And then, it happened, and like David said, my mum was like proud of me about little stuff like that. But it's not only like me doing things myself, but making my mum proud has obviously been a big thing as well. And like when she seen that, she was like super chuffed for herself and me together. But
what do you think makes you different from all of these other appointment setters in the market? All of these other just clowns that slap appointment setter in their bio after watching a YouTube video.
Well,
what makes you different?
I've paid into the right helping guys of the right people for a start, and like I just know that not many I don't even know if any appointment setter will outwork me on my thing, because if stuff got to be done, it's getting done. Otherwise, no sleep.
No sleep, right?
Yeah, and I don't really think like there's appointment setters out there who can they're booking calls and things, and they're doing this, that, and the other, but they're just appointment setters, right? They're not wanting to pay that extra amount of money to invest in it, because they're already earning $1,000 a month or whatever they're earning, but they don't want to my mindset, $1,000 a month is, I'm still broke in it.
Exactly.
I want to be earning more than that. I remember when I first went to David, actually, like I had a goal down. One of them was doing like grand, 1 to 2K a month for like 2 months consistently, and that was like, yeah. And I'd done that within the first month, and that was by February, wasn't it? And now I've done my 5K before February.
Yes, bro. We set goals in our initial plan. We had all of these goals, and we forecasted it. We wanted to be sort of lenient. Most of the goals he's had, we've already smashed them. We've still got some big ones that we're working towards, and we're going to chip away. We're about to get into the sort of what the future looks like for Iestyn. But
going off onto why, I think that there's not many better appointment setters out there than me. I just like the work rate out there. People don't really like. People are just like appointment setters are happy just making like a couple of grand a month and things. But when like you've got the goal to hit, there's more than a couple of grand a month. You'll do whatever it takes to become that appointment setter that needs to be out there and that's actually doing things with these people, not just booking a couple of calls a day and things. You know what I mean?
yeah. So Iestyn, bro, tell us, bro, at the end of the year, or we'll start the end of the year first and then further down the line. You're part of Scale Your Sales now. What are we working towards? And what does the future look like for Iestyn Krause?
6 goals by the end of the year to David, like big goals. Like obviously the small ones can be done. That's down to me to do, and I can't rely on someone to do them for me. But like 4 of the 6 goals have literally been done. Like I had a goal down to quit my job by like March, April, and I'd done it in mid-January. So that's first 5K month done. That was like the middle of this year to hit my first 5K month. And by the 2nd of January, it got complete. What was it? 1 to 2K was one of the goals. Well, that's literally done as well. What I don't know.
We've got a lot of goals, but you've covered a lot of the main ones. Obviously, you want to get into site management, you're going to have your own little agency, go and start helping other setters as well. And that's all in due time. Thing with Iestyn, he understands the progression. He understands he needs to be that guy before he can teach other people to be that guy. And we're well and truly on track to making that happen. Okay.
But one of the main things was like becoming a manager. Like realistically, anyone could be a setter manager, but if you're not a good setter, you can't really be a setter manager. Like so, there's managers out there. Like I've been on some offers. I'm better than a manager. Like hands down, better than a manager. And I was writing the scripts out for my. Do you know what I mean? What sense is that making, innit?
And Iestyn, bro, you're on a few offers at the moment. Okay, you're on an offer that's managed by me as well. What are some of the results you've been able to generate for your sales clients?
Well, like I think my results first come out when I was on like an offer David put me on. I was only on for like 5 days, innit? And I like filled her calendar out from start to finish within 5 days, and she was like chuffed. She'd done like 10, 12K within like 5 days of me working on. Obviously, it wasn't all within the same day or things, but like over the time that I booked the calendar, and every single call I booked all showed up, all perfect, and like done her 10K, and then later on down the line I'd done 47K for one of my clients in December, 48K in a month, and then like bear in mind one of them days was like a 12.5 grand day generated a day, and January, then move on to January, what I do 48.5K for the client. So yeah, that's like over what? I don't even know.
Over multiple 6 for your clients already.
And that's as a setter.
And you know what this shows as well? It shows that you're malleable. It shows that, like I said, you've been on multiple offers, and every single offer you've been on, as long as it's been a good offer with good systems in place, you've got your clients' results. A load of appointment setters in the market right now and in the space, they'll get really good at one offer, but you throw them in the deep end and they drown. They can't make it happen. Okay. So with you, a very key thing of why you've seen you're so adaptable. Does that make sense? Like obviously, no matter what, it's always going to be hard. No matter what you start. Some of you boys know. Exactly. It's always going to be in the trenches when you first start. It's the same for everything. Me and Tammy, we've moved out to London. We've been building this door-to-door sales office. Okay. It's always going to be the trenches. It's always going to be hard when you first start. But the one thing about you is just you're so malleable and you don't give up no matter what. Okay. Give us a dive deeper into why, and like why that drives you. Because there clearly has to be a lot of drive for you to, no matter what situation is thrown in your way, you get over it and you make it happen. Tell us a little bit about the thought process behind why, no matter what you're throwing into, you can make it happen. And
well, there are some negative thoughts to go in there as well, don't get me wrong, but like started appointment set, if I'm just going to give up on a little, like a little offer that's a bit bad for a week or two, I don't know why I'd even give up on that. This just doesn't make sense, because there's a reason why I started. I'm not stopping until I'm getting to where I want to be. But I have like full thing. Like obviously I'm on offers now, and like if I said to David, like what if something goes wrong with this offer and things, but like he said, we like move on and like make more money on the next offer. But like I was always a bit like skeptical about all that. But now I'm in the mindset where like wherever offer I'm on, I know I'm gonna do good well. I know I'm gonna outperform everyone that's on the offer.
Undeniable self-belief. Undeniable.